Sorry for the wait on a darning tutorial, but that's what we're going to get into today. I have some materials here and I have a sock that needs to be darned, and we'll go over some of the basics of darning. So when it comes to darning, one of the things that's really popular or often darned is like nicer socks, like socks that are wool and that kind of thing, but I do sometimes darn socks that I just really like that are also just a regular cotton blend. What you're darning is going to determine what kind of material you're going to use to darn it. So I am going to darn this just with regular thread because it is like smaller, but if you're doing like a wool sock, you're going to want something that has a similar weight. So that's going to be your first step. Also, while darning, you're going to want the fabric stretched over something. In the video that you commented on, I was darning directly on my socks, my knee-high socks, like while I was wearing them. Today I'm going to be using a tennis ball to kind of hold that fabric taut. People also have darning tools. There's like this mushroom-like tool that you can use that's wood that you can stretch things over. I've also heard of people using light bulbs, so you can buy nicer materials to darn upon, but I use the tennis balls that my dogs haven't chewed up yet. So let's start with that. You can also choose to do some darning in materials of the same color or different colors. For this particular sock, I don't have this color brown, so I'm actually going to use brown, yellow, and white and make a patch that's like multicolored because I feel like it. Something to note of my darning experience, I just taught myself by watching other people. I am not an expert, but when it comes to mending crafts, I feel like it's a lot of trial and error, and that's what makes mending crafts just kind of their own art form as well. So if I had something with a heavier weighted fabric or like a thicker edge, I would be trying to pick up each individual stitch. I'm still going to try to kind of do that as I go here, and I'm going to create basically a loom that I'm going to weave upon. So I'm going to do the first layer and show you that. I apologize, my dog's eating in the background. So I'm going to start my first couple of stitches, and I'm just going to create a stitch across. I don't want to tug the edges too harshly. Red was maybe not the best color to start with because it's hard to see. So now that I've created this weave this way and I've tried to get between like each one of these little like rivets, I'm going to go back and I'm going to start weaving. So now I'm going back and weaving the opposite way, and I'm actually starting, you can see, kind of above the area. So I'm starting on the area that's a little bit more bare and weak above it. This is not only mending but then preventative of any more rips or tears. If I feel like an edge is thin, then it'll prevent that edge from fraying as well. So you can see I've started to weave in between the different points. So usually at this point, when I'm getting deeper, I'm realizing how far apart my stitches really are, and that's when I'm going to go back in, me personally, and start weaving in the opposite direction again. So I'm going to go across with the red thread instead of the opposite way with the yellow thread, but still with my yellow thread. And that's how I go about it, just kind of going back and forth and weaving back and forth all the way through, which I'm sure is not the most precise way to do this, but is the way I do it. It's very chaotic and I like it. And all of my dogs are making all of the noise. What are you stepping on? That's plastic. Why are you like this? So you can see where I'm going back in and adding white now. I'm going across this way. You can see how some of these threads also have picked up and have gotten loose. That's what we want to avoid. We don't want a whole lot of that. So I'm going to go and do some of the white stitching, and then so I'll stitch this way and then I'll stitch this way. So that's what I mean when I say I'm weaving back and forth. I'll go this way and then I'll go that way, and then I'll go this way and then I'll go that way. And each time I'm weaving a thicker layer with more threads, creating a new fabric. Probably should have cut this piece off, but now it's going to get weaved in. Whatever. So we're just short of about halfway through here. Weaving back and forth. And there's my final product. It's not the neatest, but it is very solid. And I kind of like the quirk of it. And there it is on a foot. All good and solid. Next I'm going to do mending seams, and then I might do buttons again. I did that like years ago. What other maintenance crafting do you want to see? What other kind of mending do you want to see? Let me know.